Hello, it is the 5th of January 2026. My name is Dr. Chris Richards and I am a GP in Dorset. And today we're going to just have a quick look at the news over the last week. And I'm going to start with a story from the BBC News, which is saying that as of the beginning of this year, they are going to ban all junk food adverts before the watershed in order to try and tackle childhood obesity. This includes things like advertising for foods such as fizzy drinks and chocolate and ice cream and all the usual things you'd expect. It does actually encompass a wider range of foods, including things like sandwiches, ready meals, and breakfast cereals. Some of you might know my feelings when it comes to certain breakfast cereals because I think most of them are pretty dreadful. So that's really good news. I'm slightly puzzled by the fact that if you are a big fast food producer and you've got a well-recognised logo such as the Golden Arches or PepsiCo, as the BBC have pointed out, you can still use those in advertising. I'll leave it to you to decide whether you think that's reasonable or not. The second thing I wanted to talk about was to do with Mounjaro and the side effects, and particularly how that's affecting A&E. And there was a study it was published in the Standard newspaper this time, discussing the number of people that have ended up in hospital over the last year with side effects from Ozempic and Mounjaro. And some of these side effects are exactly as you'd expect. There are some pretty serious outcomes. Unfortunately, 3 people died and quite a number of people were significantly ill, is how they've been described. And one can only assume that it was something like pancreatitis type problem. Now, if you are taking Ozempic or Mounjaro, as somewhere in the region of 1.5 to 2 million people have done in the last year, and you are unaware of those side effects, then I would seriously be concerned about who is prescribing this for you, because they should have had that conversation. So if you're unaware of it, or you're concerned that you are being affected by side effects such as these, then do get in touch with your provider, or if it's me that's provided it for you, then you're worried, get in touch. The third subject, again, it's on the subject of Mounjaro, and it does apply to the Ozempic as well. This was in the Mirror, and it was talking about the interaction between Mounjaro and oral contraceptives. So this is primarily affecting women of childbearing age who are using Mounjaro, and they need to be aware of the fact that because of the way that Mounjaro works, slowing down the absorption rate of your foods, it can also have the same effect upon the oral contraceptive pill, and therefore make it potentially not work. And no one wants a side effect of being on Mounjaro being pregnancy. So the advice is that if you've changed your dose, or in fact you've started it in the previous 4 weeks, then you need to have other forms of contraception. This can be in the form of non-oral medications such as the Mirena coil or an implant. But once you've been on the same dose for more than 4 weeks, then you should be fine. The last little subject I wanted to talk about was from the Metro, and it is about the fact that Morrison's have developed a small and balanced meal range specifically targeted to those who are using Ozempic and Mounjaro, which made me smile at first, and then I thought, well, this might be quite useful. And I haven't actually had the pleasure of looking at these products in detail, but they are really small. They're small meals which are apparently nutrient packed, but nevertheless they are ready meals. And ready meals traditionally have been very poor choice of foods because they tend to be quite high in fat and sugar and salt. And Morrison's claim to have developed these foods, which are presumably low in salt and fat and sugar, because they're claiming to be useful and full of nutrients. I'm I reserve judgment on this one. At the end of the day, they are still ready meals, and I think some of the foods that they have been providing include spaghetti, meatballs, cottage pie, chili, prawn noodles, and chicken casserole. But they also do then move on to things like pizza and protein pasta, protein ice cream, cheeses. Slightly nervous about this as a healthy option for people who are trying to lose weight. I'm going to always recommend that you try and go with unprocessed foods if you can, because unprocessed foods typically are low in calories and high in nutrients. I will look into this a bit further and I will let you know if I find anything interesting. Other than that, have a lovely rest of the new year.